We are at the Social Hall here in Siakago, where there was a scuffle, and just like you've mentioned, former Public Service Secretary Geoffrey Roko and of course Leo Amodende were here earlier on to cast their ballot, and so did also the Democratic Party leader, that is Justin Muturi, the former AG, who was here, and he raised a number of issues in regards to a number of issues. One, talking about voter bribery, or another thing, he had issues with the MCA of Chinga, who had shown up here being an agent, but unfortunately he was donned in the UDA party colors. These are some of the things that brought a little bit of a scuffle here, but as you can see, things are cool now. The voter turnout, just as I mentioned earlier on, as we cannot expect it to be the same way usually we do in the general election, so we do not exactly expect all the 55,000 voters here registered in this constituency to be voting. And as you can see, there are some people who are voting here. The process, as you can see here, you begin where everything is checked out. If it's checked out, now you are allowed to go to the polling booth, and after that, and you can see there the voter exercising her cardinal rule, and actually after that, of course, there is a mark, that the permanent mark, that is semi-permanent mark, that is usually put there to ensure that you do not vote again. To be specific, after we are done here, we'll be heading over to St. Bakita Girls, which is the main tallying center for the three wards here, that is Mumenje, Evurore, and Ndao. And after that, we will be waiting for the results here. As you can see, also the media, we have been pitching camp here since morning because, as you have rightly put, just like we have seen in some parts of the country, both parties pulling on their side, talking about voter bribery, talking about influencing of players, and even we had issues of violence, and especially, you remember when Justin Muturi was here, there was a bit of a scuffle, but that was indeed quelled. The security forces working hand in hand with the election officials who are seated here, and others who are working together with the voters to ensure that they have casted their ballot. And after that, we did follow the Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Roko to his voting station, which is in Getibore, which is more or less like 5 or 6 kilometers from where we are standing. That begs the question: what about the Democratic Party candidate Newton Karish, the musician? Well, he was casting his ballot at almost the same time as Leo Amodende was, but he was in his ward of Mumenje, which is quite a distance from where we are, and of course the infrastructure there is not as good as we have here in Siakago. But I can tell you one thing is that the voting process here is as smooth as it should be. We had issues of young men actually thronging the gate, and even after somebody has cast his ballot, you see people milling around the gate, but that was quelled by the security officers, and everything is running smooth. As you can see from outside, we had hundreds of people out there, and after that everything went smoothly, and everything is back in Apapai order. Initially and in the morning, we were in the other ward, that is Evurore ward, where we saw the former AG, Justin Muturi, cast his vote. And after that, he came all the way here just to make sure, to ensure that everything is running smoothly. You have the agents, you have your election observers, we even have international observers, just to make sure that this election is up to par. But as things are right now, a little bit slow, but we are still keeping up to ensure that we keep our viewers and our listeners as well, and even our digital content consumers up to date with what is happening. That is what is happening in Mbeere North constituency, where we are expecting that in the evening we'll be heading to St. Bakita Girls, where we will be telling you all about the tallying process, which we expect to run into the deep hours of the night. But here from Siakago, many thanks indeed. But now allow us to go all the way to Nyanza.